Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. My apologies to everyone. I was away last weekend. We did not get to record at our normal time, so we are a week behind schedule here. Although I think it kind of worked out timing-wise because
we just don't know what to do without Shell. We are like a bunch of wandering babes.
Well, like I was saying, I mean, it kind of worked out timing-wise with the season preview schedule and our first looks at everything. It lines up better this week anyways. But I was mad about a couple things. One was I really wanted to talk about all the band drama going on in Sound Euphonium and Girls Band Cry.
Just band drama in general.
Yeah. Sound Euphonium might be one of the might be in like top 10 anime comebacks this season.
Damn.
In the second half. But reaffirming that, Reina is a terrible person and Asuka Senpai is the best. But more importantly, there was one big news item that we definitely would have talked about that I want to mention.
Yeah. Before we move on, we do need to pour one out for a company that has become a shell company, now clinging on to the legacy of their revolutionary work, while all of the greatest talents have lost it, and they seemingly are unable to get any new project off the ground. We're pouring one out for Zaum.
I had a feeling. I was like, I see where this setup is going.
All right,
but unfortunately, now don't get me wrong. I love a barely tangential connection, but I'm struggling to think of one between Disco Elysium and anime.
I don't know.
Disco Elysium is anime because it's also about sad middle-aged men,
alcoholics,
and their problems with women, trying to forget about their everyday lives by deluding themselves into doing all kinds of goofy shit.
It's the one thing that connects us all, which is that it was destroyed by capitalism.
Yeah. Still subsumes all, even that which seeks to critique it.
But yes, what we were trying to get to is that we want to talk about Gainax, who officially...
So, last week, Gainax had officially declared bankruptcy. So, and to be clear, in Japan, bankruptcy actually means what it means. It does not mean what it means in Western countries where bankruptcy is a way to get out of paying severance and benefits to your employees. In Japan, bankruptcy is a pretty serious, no, this is functionally the final nail in the coffin for a company.
I think that in America they call that Chapter 11 bankruptcy,
something
the one where you just the company just stops existing.
So this has been, obviously anyone who has kind of paid attention to Gainax for the last 10 years has kind of known that this was going to be inevitable. Obviously, there's no need to relitigate the entire history of Gainax here, but just know that the last 10 years have been tumultuous for them. Much of their talent has left in the last decade. The company has made a lot of, shall we say, self-inflicted wounds. And so, Gainax going out of business does not really surprise anybody. I think it's just, we have lived in the shadow of Gainax's obvious decline for so long. I think some of us had forgotten it had not actually officially died yet.
Right.
Yeah. And there's something to be said for making it official that kind of catches your attention, right?
Gainax, the Henry Kissinger of anime studios.
Yeah, and Hideaki Anno and Studio Kara, along with Trigger, have kind of made public statements that they are working to divide and distribute the rights for whatever is left at Gainax to be given to the right people. Now, that's a nice statement to make. We'll see what that means in practice. I somewhat suspect it's not going to necessarily play out as fairly as everybody hopes, but...
I mean, we've already had the travesty of Fooly Cooly.
Right, I was about to say, aren't there more players in that game? Because, for example, Fooly Cooly will end up with production.
Fooly Cooly was already sold to Production IG in the whole several
years. In fact, that is one of the great schisms that actually caused the split between Anno and Gainax, is that Anno agreed to loan money to Gainax when it was the first time it was approaching bankruptcy. with the intent, the sort of handshake intent that Anno would get the rights to multiple Gainax series, including Evangelion, and he had intended to also get Fooly Cooly, but then Hiroyuki Yamaga. Yes, and Gunbuster, but Hiroyuki Yamaga, one of the original 7 founders of Gainax, then surreptitiously sold the remaining rights to Fooly Cooly to production IG without Anno's consent or knowledge, which is maybe a thing you shouldn't do to the guy who gave you a blank check loan because you guys used to be buddies.
Yeah.
And then Kiryu Kazuma had to beat up a gazillion dudes for 50 hours to solve all of that.
Yeah, to be clear, we are not mourning the loss of whatever was left of Gainax in the past 10 years. That was all hot garbage that needed to be burned to the ground.
No, what we mourn is...
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're obviously mourning the loss of the studio that made the, the classics of, at least our youth. And we don't even need to name them all, but Evangelion, Fooly Cooly, all those shows, and I mean, it's just even those creators are still making things, but it's still not the same, right? Like that combination of talent is not to be repeated at this point.
Yeah, I put together a post on co-host, kind of going through my feelings about Gainax as a whole, and I think the thing that kind of really stands out or stood out about Gainax as a studio is its, I think, truly unique ability to put out a generation defining classic every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
An almost unbelievable consistency across 20 years of Gainax. Starting with Royal Space Force in 1987, going all the way to Gurren Lagann in 2007, or if you're a real sicko like me, going all the way to Panty and Stocking in 2010. Yes. Just an unbelievable run. I mean,
the thing is, there might be other studios that have done something similar, but the thing with Gainax was also that they were small enough for every one of their shows to be an event, and that makes them stand out more, I think.
Yeah,
definitely. I think Gainax.
You put it a certain way, G. When we were talking about it the other day, it's in some ways they were the first or one of the first anime studios to arise mostly from people who grew up watching anime, right?
Yeah,
a lot of these other studios are much older.
Right. I think for better or worse, I think Gainax is kind of the first otaku-driven anime studio.
Right. Inmates running the asylum. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Gainax broadly justified it. I think you look at their track record and, and here's a rare case of otaku brackets complimentary.
Right.
These are people who truly loved anime. They lived and breathed anime. You look at the original Daikon 4 short they made to basically announce their arrival to the scene. You look at their first movie, Royal Space Force, their first OVA, Gunbuster. It's in some regards, what Gainax did was they kind of wrote the codex on the visual language of anime for the 2 decades they kind of ran the show. Everything you kind of know about anime, both the amazing and the grotesque, you can kind of lay at the feet of that studio. You don't really get that anymore. Obviously there are very prominent studios in modern anime, but they all kind of, none of them quite has that singular unifying identity.
About the only other contender is Shonen Jump as a conglomerate, right? Which is not the same. Yeah.
Could you argue that Gainax is at least partially responsible for anime pivoting more to catering to otaku specifically?
Yes.
I think so, yes. There is a good argument to be made that Gainax invents the concept of moe, right? That Gainax created the first waifu.
It's kind of like the, we have to put a hero in our story, but we also want to put cute girls in our story. Let's make the cute girls the heroes of the story, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
But then again, that stuff also goes back to Gundam, right?
That's not quite the same with Gundam.
But it did not coalesce into its modern form
Right.
Like yes, there were like female characters in Gundam that people otaku were fans of, but it was not. It had not become that kind of like driving engine of the industry, right? Like people were not making figures of like Sailor Mass in droves, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, look at
there was no Mirai Yajima body pillow.
yeah. I mean, look at Gunbuster, right? I mean, it's entirely female-driven cast, right? But yeah, it's kind of sad, but you know, it's not something that we're not expecting at some point in
the thing is, like, it's not particularly sad because it's a name that ends, whereas most of the talent that made that name continues to thrive
for sure
in this day and age. Like,
yeah, but like I said, I mean, it's not that combination of talent is like never gonna
like
we're never gonna get that
you know,
again.
It is a difficult thing, right? Because obviously, you know, it's important to recognize that like Gainax was a time and place, right? Like the thing we always say about like Gurren Lagann example is like you could take all the exact same people who made Gurren Lagann and put them together into a studio in 2024, and I don't think they could make Gurren Lagann again. Like it is a time and place for these people at their specific points in their careers, and
the chemical reaction can no longer occur.
Exactly.
I mean, but this is also kind of like a sophism because, like, no one could make Gurren Lagann again because Gurren Lagann has already been made. Like,
right? Yeah, we don't.
So,
yes,
but I think the thing that actually is kind of more worth like kind of quote unquote mourning in a softer sense is like kind of the. I'm not saying these people would have stayed successful in a world where Gainax stayed solvent, but you can't help but look at the trajectory of some of these careers and wonder, like, were they truly better off in a post-Gainax era? I mean, I think the two that we here at the GLORIO chat always talk about are Kazuya Tsurumaki, the director of Fooly Cooly and Die Buster, and Yoji Enokido, the writer of Fooly Cooly and Die Buster, right? These two unbelievably talented individuals invented the concept of bluff aesthetics, which I think to this day is still GLORIO chat's like Discord name.
Yes, that is like the name of our Discord server, right?
Like,
yes.
Like these two unbelievably talented individuals kind of just their careers kind of just peter out post Gainax. I mean, like Tsurumaki has mostly just been chained to Studio Kara, right? He's directed, you know, the rebuild movies for better or worse.
I mean, it's kind of sad because like I think they've been like commercially successful, right? But like
I believe so. I mean, Yoji Enokido has just been writing Bungo Stray Dogs for the last 15 years.
Which is very popular.
They collaborated like one time on that Dragon Dentist thing.
Yeah, like I'm not pretending like like Enokido is like panhandling on the streets, but like it's more. I mean, okay, like Fooly Cooly, Die Buster, Redline, and Revolutionary Girl Utena. Like you go from that to Bungo Stray Dogs, like, like come on, you can't help it. Like
it's a living.
But you see, it's funny because he wants to kill himself.
I mean, the thing is, Bungo Stray Dogs is like a manga. He's just adapting the scripts. We need to move on.
We need to keep moving. It is just an end of an era that was, you know, a huge part of anime history and a huge part of, you know, our love of anime. I always say, you know, if you held a gun to my head and forced me to pick my favorite anime, it would probably be Fooly Cooly. I mean, and you know, I love all those other Gainax classics as well.
But yeah, like, the thing is that Gainax is a studio that is beloved by a certain generation of anime fans, which is our generation of anime fans.
Yeah, even from what I can tell, I mean, even the young folks still like Evangelion. Like, it's part of the, you know, that's just part of anime history. You know,
right.
That's not going anywhere. So everybody knows, you know, everybody's been touched by it in some way, even the young folks these days. But yeah.
But I think a lot of like the aesthetics and values of what constitutes anime and what constitutes good anime for like people our age who grew up, you know, watching Gurren Lagann in 3 parts on YouTube. Was defined by the sensibilities of Gainax, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time I watched Fooly Cooly, I ordered it on Netflix when they were DVD only.
Oh man.
Yeah. So good times.
Netflix anime and Netflix taketh anime away.
Rest in peace, Gainax.
Rest in peace, Netflix.
Yeah. All right. So for this actual episode of the GLORIO chat, we will
Yes.
it is season preview time.
Speaking of our generation of anime fans, time to whine about all the new shit.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about a bunch of shows, none of which will probably live up to anything Gainax has ever made.
I feel pretty confident in saying that. But yes, it is time for the summer 2024 preview. We're rapidly approaching our 12th anniversary here, and
we might get some things that live up to "He is my master."
Oh god, Gainax did make that, didn't they?
I mean, look, like, I didn't even say anything, but we also must be clear. Gainax was a studio of peaks and valleys. Like, we were talking exclusively about the best things they ever did. We're not talking about, like...
Petite Princess UCA, This Ugly Beautiful World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, we're not blind. You could go to their Wikipedia article. There's a lot of shows we didn't mention that Gainax made.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually we'll talk about a legally not Gainax studio later on in this episode in the preview.
Right.
But you know what, before I forget, let me introduce everybody, because now that we're 15 minutes in,
Yes.
that I'm Gel, I'm joined by Iro.
I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
Still with us. We're joined by G.
What's good, everybody?
And we are also joined by Aqua.
You didn't need to introduce me. People know that I am on based on the fact that people get interrupted every other minute.
Well, we had you on like it only took like two episodes this time to get you back on, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, summer 2024 anime. We've still got a lot to cover here, so let's dive into it. We'll start with things that are returning. First thing we have on the list, the second season of Oshi no Ko. Coming back already. I think we've made previous listeners. I think we've made our opinion clear on Oshi no Ko for most of us who were kind of turned off by the rest of the show after the really strong start, the kind of opening movie prologue thing, and then once it shifted over to Aqua being the main character, it kind of lost a lot of us. I actually I've blocked it out of my memory so much that I kind of almost don't remember if I actually finished season 1.
No, the thing is, like, season 1 mostly focuses on like Aqua trying to make it as an actor by being on one of those like celebrity dating shows.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of like old man Aka Akasaka waving his fist at social media.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean that part. I feel like that was the good part. It was more of Aqua being the perfect genius guy, and all the women all the women want to bang him.
Right.
So but it is I think it remains High Dive's most popular show ever.
Oshi no Ko is really popular.
It is very popular.
I mean, I can sort of understand why. It gives like this. It speaks to a theme that people find interesting. We live in the era of stan culture, and you add to that like that little slight twist of like that makes it sort of relatable, but also kind of different by focusing on the Japanese entertainment industry specifically, because of like a lot of things that Oshi no Ko is about are generally forms of media that viewers here would not really be familiar with. Like, we don't really have an equivalent of Terrace House, the show that is being spoofed in the first season. The second season will be all about them being in like a theater play based on a manga. So that's also, something.
We do not have the equivalent of what appears to be at least the first where we're starting in season 2.
Yeah.
Where they are going to be in one of those like live action stage play adaptations, which is very specific to the Japanese entertainment industry sort of thing.
So I think it's like this combination of the familiar and the unfamiliar that makes it interesting, along with, all the other like standard anime things, like, you got your cute girls, you got your cool scheming intelligent main character, you got your murder mystery, it's something that
I definitely get it. Yeah,
Like, it's the kind of show that would appeal to people who like Death Note back in the day, as in, like, it feels different, but it's actually just the same. If you know what I mean. Like,
I understand the appeal of the show. I think just for me personally, there were some elements to it that were just not.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to actually talk about like the second season itself and not just kind of our feelings in Oshinoko, I guess. I guess I assume it's like broadly the same staff and everything, right? There's probably no like separation.
It's just the same people.
Regard.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious because like as someone who did finish season 1, I think I feel like I always flip flop on my feelings on this show as a whole, depending on like the day and my mood. Like, I feel like sometimes I really do appreciate its fairly like uncompromised take on like the struggles of the entertainment industry. And I think sometimes it's just like, I guess it's just sometimes when Aqua is in focus too much in a given episode. I think,
10 steps ahead of everybody, and
and I don't know. It's like that, but so much of that is the core of like what was originally interesting about that story, right? Is like Aqua's like pursuit of like his mother's killer, right? Or at least the person who engineered it, right? And I guess, I mean, I think I probably will check out the second season for at least a bit because, I guess I do kind of want to see where it will land ratio-wise of, like, which plot threads it decides to pursue. I think it's just, like, it's tough because I think if the ratio shifts too much in one direction, even if you tell me later that, well, no, in season 3, it goes way in on the murder mystery stuff, it'll be like, well, I don't want to have to get through a whole season of love triangle to get there,
Like, the thing is, like, I don't know if they reveal this at the end of season 1 or not, but like the reason why Aqua joins this play is because like there is someone in the theater troupe who may have a link with his mother, right?
I think that is like one of the last pieces of information that is revealed in season
But like
1.
the main conflict in this arc will be about like the conflict with the original mangaka, and like will be about like adaptation choices that they make, which is obviously like, hello, I am best-selling mangaka Akasaka, and they made 2 live-action movies of my beloved manga.
I mean, obviously, like,
Kaguya-sama,
and it's like, obviously, like, this story was written years ago, but I feel like in some regards, that conversation even gets more harrowing in the last year or two, right? There was that fairly high-profile suicide of a mangaka who was... what they said in their their note is that they were so distraught over how poorly their adaptation was handled that
not necessarily because of the changes people made, but because of the way she was treated by the people who had made these changes, right?
Exactly. And it's like, and this is always kind of also where maybe Oshinoko gets a little awkward because, like, you had the attempted suicide plotline in season 1 that was based directly on the real suicide of a terrace house participant. And there's always that aspect of, like, okay, Oshinoko's broadly treating these respectfully, but also you are kind of chasing headlines in a real, like...
Yeah.
A real aggressive way.
The thing is, like, if you do that, you have to do it with righteous indignation. And I get the feeling that the indignation is not always as righteous as Oshinoko likes to think it is. It still takes a very weird, like, split stance on, like, the whole idol thing, right? Like, and on one hand, it fully admits that, it's a sham, it is it will ruin your life. But on the other hand, it still buys into the myth of, of the star shining on stage, of the Oshi, that's the name of the show. Yeah. And I find it incredibly strange for the show to sort of keep its balancing act without committing one way or the other. Sort of like how it also can't commit between being a quote-unquote realistic portrayal of the entertainment industry and being a like exciting murder mystery starring a super deep genius.
Well, I guess really the last thing we can now talk about is Will Yoasobi come back for the OP?
Nope,
No?
I think they already confirmed. No.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh, man.
They're not coming back.
I take it. Why were we even talking for this long about Oshi?
They're too busy playing Coachella and starring in Dead Demons.
What and having dinner with Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did that happen?
Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that what getting? Is that what getting like 750 million views on YouTube gets you?
Yeah, I think they were like, while they were in America, they were invited to the White House.
Yeah, well,
this is like one time when Obama said anime.
But yes, well,
we will we can relitigate Oshi no Ko when season 2 starts again for sure. It's an interesting show. I'll give it that much, but yeah, we'll see. All right. Also surprisingly coming back, the Nier Automata version 1.1a anime adaptation.
Yes.
Somehow they haven't taken this thing out back and put a bullet between his eyes.
Well, I say surprisingly because there was some like delays and stuff with ending the first season that we never thought were actually going to happen. But they did. They did eventually finish it. Yeah. This is of course the adaptation of the video game, but kind of taking an interesting approach that I think we were all very positive on for the most part. With the first
adaptation
season.
of the beloved cosplay and Blender porn videos franchise, Nier Automata.
What do you guys? How are you guys feeling about going into the second season?
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like the first anime was solid enough that like I'm happy to watch this. Even at its worst, I will watch. I think the second season just because it's an excuse to go, man, Nier Automata, huh?
Thing that happened in the game.
That sure was what a pretty good video game, huh? But in all seriousness, the thing is that like 1.1a actually did like do some not like huge sweeping changes to the story, but like kind of twisted and like morphed certain events in ways that like made it feel different enough that I would like to see what they continue to do down the line.
They made enough changes to things to make it work as an anime that made me go, okay, they're actually trying to do something with this adaptation as opposed to just like extrude out a popular anime.
Right.
And even if it wasn't a change, they'd be like showing maybe a different angle on the story or something, right?
Yeah. I think that is definitely like an aspect that helps 1.1a a lot is you even when they are like faithfully adapting familiar elements, like I think broadly the anime kind of had a smart enough visual direction to find a different perspective or find a different like way to present familiar events, and so as a result, like Nier Automata kind of ends up becoming. This is a very low bar to clear, I understand, but it kind of becomes one of the better video game to anime adaptations out there.
Low bar, but yes. Yep.
Just by kind of like the anime just does generally a good job of looking at Nier Automata the game and going, all right, tonally and thematically, what are the things that read as Nier, and doing that in the anime without being like too slavishly devoted to like, oh well, you have to do that moment in the video game because blah blah blah.
Taking advantage of the anime medium and making it work in that medium,
for sure,
and not just one for one copying the game. This is another one I did not actually watch after the delay. I never caught back up with it. Where did season 1 end?
They got to the end of Routes A/B.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this will start with.
So this is gonna have Yorha dropping in.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The end of season 1 was everybody suit up or taking the fight to the machine life forms. Yeah.
So
suits.
That is probably also the other interesting thing about season 2, right? Is now we are getting into, some might say the real Nier Automata starts here.
Yes. Okay.
Obviously, A2 will become a much more prominent character. I think in this second season.
That's gonna be. I wonder if they're gonna stick to their guns on what happens in the game with all that.
9S will transition from everybody's favorite small bean to highly problematic fave.
I mean, it's been 7 years. We can spoil it, right? Like, like what are they? Like, do you think they're actually going to go through with 2B dying?
Yeah.
I think you have to. It's core to the story. It's core to 9S's like character, right? Like everything.
Yeah,
about
I guess
9S
there's no way you could, because in my brain I'm thinking like they've been changing things for the sake of the anime. Would that be a thing that you change? But I guess you really can't.
I mean, I think they could maybe twist it. Right? I'm sure they could find a way to like change it up. But I think fundamentally, it's like if you want to tell the story about like,
because then
the evaporation of 9S's morality, you know, in the wake of the death of the only person he cares about, you kind of have to. I mean, that entire personality shift is predicated on 2B's death, right? It's you know, the entire truth of the android robot war is kind of predicated on
right
on 2B's death. So if they don't do that, I mean, here's the thing: if they don't do that, I'm still going to be really interested. Because
the anime has
the anime. Every time the anime has changed things, it has been fairly interesting. So if they somehow actually did not kill 2B, I certainly would be very curious to see what kind of story version 1.1a becomes.
Yeah. No, I think you're right though. They probably will stick with that point at least. Maybe they'll do something else different, but that seems like a very non-negotiable story.
And of course, we're all primed for more Goofy Puppet next time segments.
Oh yeah, that's actually the real thing we're all looking forward to.
Yes. Yep. The actual secret.
Maybe we're all super hyped for the Become as Gods episode.
Oh yeah.
Where nothing bad happens.
No, nothing bad happens in Route C at all.
No.
Oh no, yeah. Well, you just hang out at Pascal's village for the rest of the game.
It's
really
pretty. It's
cool.
just fun, slice of life. Charming, uplifting content.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Let's move on to also coming back after taking a season off. Sengoku Youko.
Yep.
I still haven't watched that last episode, but I will definitely watch it before we jump back in here.
Sure, Joe. Yeah.
I'm committed. Really, I will do it. I promise.
Oh yeah.
Just like I finished Thunderbolt Fantasy season 4, or 3.
Wow, you watched season 4?
I was like, season 4 ain't out.
Yeah,
you're holding out.
I got that wrong. Season 3. Yeah, but and just as I guess a reminder, we kind of left off at a big kind of status quo shift at the end of season 1, which is what I certainly was personally waiting for.
The old seinen manga time skip / perspective shift.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on that other than
some might say the real Sengoku Youko starts here.
I mean, with this one, this like literally just aired like a season ago, so we're. What I'll say is like
as the de facto best Satoshi Mizukame anime out there currently, due to lack of competition, are 2 cores enough? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so, but we'll.
They're gonna squeeze even more.
Yeah, even the first season did feel kind of rushed, right? Like,
it's not 2 cores. It's wait, isn't it 3? Wait,
that's including the previous core. How are we gonna fit we gotta fit the whole rest of the story into the next 2 cores.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good luck.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of how I feel. Right. It's like I don't know. There's a lot that happens over a fairly large amount of time, and I don't know. I like Sengoku Youko. I wish I did not have to I wish it didn't have to be the champion of this tiny sphere of which I am trying to push. Right.
Right.
I wish that Biscuit anime was better. I wish maybe we got a good Spirit Circle anime. I wish maybe Planet With had more verve to it.
Is this better than Planet With?
Production-wise?
I mean, production-wise, yes, but
Production-wise.
as a complete story, I guess we'll see. I mean, it's not still a long way to go here, but yes.
By the way, read the manga version of Planet With if possible, which takes a little more time to do things and is a little better for it.
I mean, I was mostly positive on Planet With.
Yeah, Planet With's good. I don't know. I like Sengoku Youko. I hope it does well. There are concerns.
There are concerns going into it, yes. So
yes, but
we'll see if they can pull it together. All right. Well, I guess a couple quick hits here, Aqua, that you reminded me of here. I have no idea what's going on with Code Geass at this point.
I don't even know why this one's on the notes, man. I don't know who has paid attention to Code Geass post R2.
There must be some people.
I think like Code Geass has quietly become another Eureka 7. If you actually look at it, you realize there's been like 4 sequel spin-offs made since like the anime everybody cared about that like nobody has paid attention to.
Look, I mean, Takahiro Kimura passed away. I don't see why I have to care about Code Geass anymore.
Don't you want to find out who the car driver was?
No,
but I looked at I did look this up, and like it just seems to be kind of, in some regards, Code Geass has just become a bad version of what happens to any like long running mecha franchise that gets too many entries. Like, it seems like this takes place after the movie that like revealed that Lelouch survived the events of the TV show. But by the way, that happened. There was a movie that.
Well, it's like, well, no, didn't he die? And according to my knowledge from playing Super Robo Wars 30.
Oh, okay, fine. I was trying to simplify.
And then they pulled his consciousness out of the collective unconscious or some shit. I don't know.
I mean, yes. Yes. There's a much longer, more convoluted version. But long story short, Lelouch isn't dead. He's fine. Anyways, it seems like Rose of the Recapture is about like. What if Japan got invaded again by Neo Britannia? The Britannia.
Oh, hey, this is written by the writer of Kyokai Senki.
Oh, that explains a lot about this plot line. That apparently is about like a couple of like super cool brothers who are the coolest guys fighting for the independence of glorious Nippon against the evil Gaijin Neo-Britannian invaders. That explains a lot.
Wasn't Kyokai Senki like the super nationalist one?
Yes. It was the super nationalist one with the aesthetics of a kids show. Yes.
Japan may be the only country in the world that doesn't have the right to dunk on the British for being colonizers.
I'm not gonna touch that one. This is
I don't know. Whatever. Like, I don't pay attention to Code Geass anymore. Like, the mech designs have gone to shit since like season 1 anyway. So like, there's like very little for me to care about. I don't know.
Well, I guess speaking of letting things die. And actually, with these other 2 entries on the bullet point list, let's pretend it's 2009 here again. But
I know, right?
Yeah, I guess the Monogatari series has not died yet. I lost track of it when they stopped doing like actual full seasons, and now they just kind of do like a mini 4 to 6 episode OVA for an arc every now and then for the past 14 years. But Nizio
Isin, go home.
I saw a gift set from one of the later seasons like earlier this week, and I was like, man, this show just straight up has a child molester as its protagonist, huh? And people are just okay with that.
It's always had that.
Yes, I know. It's just...
And everybody was like, oh, Bakemonogatari is so good. It's so, the animation of the movie is so good when he's macking on this child because it's okay, she turns big, has big boobs. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I do miss the OPs. I don't even think they're making good. I don't even think they're making good OPs anymore.
Is this still Shaft? Like Shaft still doing this shit?
I mean, this is probably the only thing Shaft still do.
Shout out to the one OP, the I guess technically the third Senjougahara arc, where they made it look like the 90s, the 90s anime one. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Nope.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I remember that one. Yeah, I mean that one was kind of like almost like an early harbinger of the like 90s revivalist vaporwave,
the 90s
kind
city
of...
pop revival, or
yeah,
80s 90s city pop revival. Yeah, that was kind of ahead of its time with that one, I guess. But or I don't know, but
remember when Kana Hanazawa repped? That was good.
Yeah, those old OPs, they went on a good string with those. But
yep,
yeah, let that die. I guess perhaps more surprisingly, speaking of 2009, there's another season of Kimi ni Todoke. Does anyone on this podcast,
what end? Like,
I mean,
does anyone in this podcast still care about that?
They haven't animated
currently?
the manga fully, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, but like season 2 ends when they get together, and there's
there are more misunderstandings to have here.
No, when are they gonna hold hands? When are they gonna hug for the first time? When are they gonna kiss everybody? Oh, it's my anime.
I mean, the only thing
Netflix desperately digging for.
Oh, this is Netflix. Of course it is.
Netflix?
Fucking hell, they're just gonna do anything. Why can't Netflix commission a good Biscuit Hammer anime if they're gonna put fucking a lot of money into shit people didn't care about except for in the late aughts?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I get out of this is maybe being a little nostalgic for the old Japanator days, but RIP Japanator, because this was one of the hot shows during the time that we all met,
yes.
Right? But
yes, Rage Nitodoke.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a reference no one other than the three of us will understand. The four of us will understand.
No, it's fine. You could say 3. I never watched Kimi no Todoke.
Okay.
Neither did I.
Okay.
Good. It's fine.
When was this? Like 2009?
Yeah.
Let's see. 2009. I was probably too busy getting mad about which Gundam. Which Gundam would I be busy getting mad about?
Gundam Age?
2009.
Yeah.
Age, probably Age. I would have been complaining about Age season 2 in 2009, probably.
I think back then, G, you were a little more militant about your like anti-moe.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
Cute anime type.
Okay, look, 09 would have been season 2 of 00.
Put Moe to the sword. Oh, no, you're right. I would have been complaining about the huge drop in quality from 00 season 1 to 00 season 2. Did you know that after Lock-On Stratos died, he was replaced by his identical twin, like Rock-On Stratos?
Oh my god. I believe you.
Right. We need to keep moving.
I'm making that up. I don't actually remember the twin's name.
No, maybe we should just stop. Like, we're not gonna top this.
His younger brother, Lyle Dylandy.
What?
Lyle Dylandy.
Wait, that's his name?
Neil Lock-On Stratos, originally Neil Dylandy. Replaced by Lyle Dylandy.
Yes, that's what it was. Oh, they both take on the Lock-On Stratos like
Schwartz Brooder out here.
Yeah.
I have failed as a host. We have gone way too far off track.
I think Rock-On Stratos was a fan-made nickname for the new brother.
Rock-On Stratos is my favorite Guilty Gear character.
All right.
Christ. What's coming up next?
Let's move on. Let's move on to new shows now.
New anime.
New anime that's happening. The first thing I have put on this list is the English title being My Wife Has No Emotion. There's a very long Japanese title that I think the short name will be Boku Suma or something like that. So
that's
okay,
right.
I'm just gonna get it out here. This is the inferior robot wife made manga.
Okay. So yes, this is a robot wife.
What is Chobits from 20 years ago?
No, it's Ponko. I ride or die with Ponko.
Okay. Have you actually read this one at all or seen it before, G?
Yes, I have read. I think like 2 or 3 volumes of it at this point. I mean, it's the premise is like it's literally what it says on the tin. It's a dude who gets a robot made and then decides, damn,
I gotta wait for
I am so hot on this robot maid. What if I propose to her and we get married? And it's like, yeah,
is that
it's
legal?
like, I mean,
Probably.
like I don't think it's. I
Sure.
don't think it's official. I don't think it's like actually registered. He just
As
gave
long
her a
as you
ring.
find someone who wants to officiate that marriage.
But you know, and it's just the antics are, she's comically emotionless, right? Because she's like, beep boop, I'm a robot maid. But the joke is like, but she does have emotions deep down. She just does, or she just expresses
As a
them
robot, I don't
comically.
have any emotions, and sometimes it makes me very sad.
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for one of you to follow up with that.
I mean, this is just like, this is the new hotness in manga land, right? We had Isekai, the new hotness is like this super hot, like, and this is the old hotness, but like there's a like onslaught of new manga that is just like, hey, here's my hot girlfriend or wife, and we do the same joke for like 300 chapters.
I will comment that I did notice, in addition to the normal isekai trash, there does seem to be a lot of romantic comedies this season that look like they range from either bad to average at best, that I've left mostly off. This was arguably the best option out of the ones I saw.
I feel like, if I'm being charitable, the best I can say for God, I do not even know the full name of this damn
robot wife.
This robot wife anime is like, it's pretty inoffensive, right? It's just like, it literally is just like, haha, married couple antics, but like the wife is a robot, you know, like, and she charges with a USB-C cord or something, you know, like, it's.
I guess I appreciate she has a human face, but the rest of her from the neck down is robot.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
I mean, it's these weird kind of details that makes these shows distinguish each other from another. Right?
Yeah, we have to
it's
find
my
details,
Gyaru girlfriend, part 325. But this time the Gyaru has red eyes. Like,
she's from Hokkaido.
So the actual trailer,
a gamer.
Like you were saying, G, like, it seems pretty like inoffensive, wholesome.
That's fine. Yeah,
type of content. So
other than the part where, like, if you have issues with the idea of a man like entering a domestic relationship with a robot, like, beyond that premise, like, it's mostly.
What if Vivi shows up?
So long as the robot consents, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, again,
you know what? The one robot wife in Vivi punched her so hard in the chest she exploded. So
shout out to
Vivi. But yes,
all right.
I would say you're better off just. I'll probably bring it up when it inevitably gets an anime, but I'll just say you're better off reading Useless Ponko, which is a gag comedy about a Japanese senior citizen who lives on his own now that all of his kids and family have moved out, getting sent a hilariously defective robot maid who's like super bad at her job, and
that's a lot more fun than just emotionless.
Yeah, like she has like an ionizer beam, except it's actually just like, I don't know, like an arm-mounted Dyson fan, basically.
Oh yeah,
right. Okay.
Yeah, it's turning the ionizer setting on my air purifier.
Like, exactly.
Yes.
That is literally what it does. Yes. Useless Ponko. That's the good one.
Okay. We'll wait for the anime adaptation on that one. But all right. Well, moving on to another type of robot.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Grendizer other than I saw
Grendizer is one of the sequels to Mazinger. Like, is in the same continuity.
I saw it. I was like, damn, that's got to be Go Nagai. But
yeah.
Interestingly, this is being created by Gaina, not Gainax.
Tsushima Gainax.
Not to be confused with Gainax.
Not to legally be confused with Gainax.
Those assholes are still here.
This all sounds incredibly legitimate and definitely not like some kind of money laundering.
I don't want to relitigate the beginning of this podcast, but I will say it's very funny that in Gainax's public bankruptcy statement, it did say, by the way, Gaina, Fukushima Gaina, Gainax the tomato farm, etc., are not legally affiliated with Gainax and have nothing to do with the closure of the studio. It's just like, God, even in your death throes, you can't help but be shady as fuck.
If I ever make it back to Japan someday, I need to hunt down some Gainax tomatoes.
Yeah, I know, right?
I just feel like I
God,
need to do
but,
that. But
yes,
So
this
this
is being made
is-
by.
yeah,
But
go
yes, Grendizer is. I actually know remarkably little about Grendizer, other than yes, that it is technically a Mazinger spinoff. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, like watching this, like the trailer, it's like, well, it's like CG mechs, so it's like that's already kind of less interesting to me. But I don't know. It's like I cannot tell like how something like this is going to hit in 2024, right? Like, are there people who were like maybe like conditioned by Bravern to go?
I mean, we've had Bravern, we've had the return of what was it called?
I feel like
are we getting a super robot renaissance?
So
I pump the brakes on that. Like
my understanding is that Grendizer has been experiencing a like revival in France and Italy lately.
Yep. I was just about. Someone had to mention the French. Like the French.
They put out a new Grendizer video game recently.
Yeah.
Like in France.
For those who do not know, for the French, like the Go Nagai super robots are anime. Like it's that or City Hunter. Like those are like two things that are gigantic in France. They are
right. I mean,
I think it's also huge in like Saudi Arabia.
I mean, this is always a thing, right? It's like Italians and Lupin the Third, or like the Philippines and Voltes V.
Yeah,
like, it's always like
Latin America and Saint Seiya.
Yeah. You have these like weirdly regional. I mean, hell, for us in America,
the Philippines and Mospeada.
Right. You know,
Indonesia and Mospeada. Forgive me.
Indonesia has good taste, but yes.
Wait, is Mospeada good?
The opening's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the opening alone makes it worth it.
Is Mospeada good? Have you ever?
Yeah, maybe.
That opening is great.
The opening alone is
no, it's an old timer. I'll give you that. But yeah, so I guess I mean, I guess looking at this trailer, this PV, and kind of seeing some of the people attached to it, it's like, well, this will probably be better than Get a Robo Arc, at least production wise.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like the sad thing about Get a Robo Arc is that it's not that the love for Getter was not there; it's that they had no money.
The money was not there.
Whereas, like this also has a bunch of high profile names attached to it. The Gundam Seed director, hot off of the Gundam Seed movie, is directing this. Script by one Ichiro Kochi, hot off. Hot off Code Geass or whatever the hell he's working on these days.
What, Ichiro Kochi? You mean Mr. Witch for Mercury?
Yes, Witch for God. Why did I blank on that one? He does so much shit, dude.
He does so much shit. Like Lupin the Third.
Kohei Tanaka on music, noted mecha composer.
Right. So I mean, that's the thing is like, okay,
Yoshiyuki Sadamoto on character design.
Right. So again, if you ignore Fukuda, it's a pretty strong production team, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Fukuda being director will probably sink this whole thing. It'll probably go straight to dog shit because that man has never, like, directed a good thing in his life.
I mean, isn't he also the writer of Seed? Or am I getting things mixed up?
His late wife wrote much of Seed.
His late wife, yes.
And who wrote, oh god, what is it called? The fucking lesbian prison mecha anime.
Cross Ange.
Yeah.
Cross Ange. Yeah.
Who did write?
Who knows?
That?
Man, multiple people. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's just, I guess it's like it's a curiosity, right? It's like, I mean,
yeah, like you guys are saying, like, what is the appetite for this in 2024? Because it doesn't look like they're like, this is not like modern retelling or something. It looks like they're just doing a straight up, like,
I mean, if you get Sadamoto for your character designs, you have money. Like,
they do not look like Sadamoto character designs to me.
That is kind of the annoying thing. No, the key art is Sadamoto as fuck, but for some reason, the actual art in the anime doesn't look anything like his work.
Yeah.
It's actually really frustrating.
At least the Great Pretender looked like Sadamoto.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'd like like you guys mentioned Braver, and I don't think anybody outside of our little internet bubble who very much loved Braver and cares or watched Braver. I'm not
Again,
anticipating
Bravern was
any.
so projected as unpopular, it was not licensed until everyone started hooting and hollering. Like,
I still think that was more of a
I will say, if we want to talk about
clerical
domestically,
error or something
actually,
than a
you're probably right.
Bravern actually did do very well ratings-wise in Japan. So
Right, yes.
Okay.
there is talk of maybe not overseas, but like there is talk that at least maybe domestically in Japan, there is a growing appetite for super robot anime.
What time
again.
slot did Bravern air in? Do you know
I'm
that?
not sure. I have no clue.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, that seems like a kind of show that could go in the, like, what is it, you know, the, like, Sunday 5 in the afternoon TV.
Oh, I don't know.
like
I feel like some of
I-
Bravern's jokes might.
I feel like that was a
Right,
late night.
yeah.
I feel like that was a
I
late
mean,
night.
Gurren Lagann was in that time slot. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's still-
It was the morning anyway, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But it was
well.
funny when Kamina asked to get drilled in the ass so that he could hop over the wall and see the girls bathing.
Gurren Lagann's so good. Oh, we cannot
Man.
litigate Gurren Lagann.
Let's move on and talk about. I put this one on here. Dungeon People.
You guys
Hey,
are just
guys.
cutting off my attempts to
Sorry.
derail this podcast.
I mean, we need a G buzzer whenever G tries to derail any podcast to talk
Okay,
about Gainax or triggers. So.
Look, we're all guilty of derailing at some point. None of us are free from sin.
What is this? I had not heard of this one until I
So-
saw it announced.
Hey guys,
Hey guys.
Dungeon Meshi's on break.
Yeah.
And
Hey, season 2 announced.
season 2 has been announced, but we don't know when it's airing yet. It's not airing next season. Would you like to, fill that void in your life with another dungeon-based show?
Sure.
Well, this probably isn't going to cut it, but
These are not
Um,
exactly hard to find.
Oh, this
Shell.
one. Okay.
yeah. So no, but this is very specifically like. Okay, so the premise of the show is there is a person who I don't know if this is supposed to be
It's
what
a
their
woman.
gender is supposed to
I
be.
read a bit
person,
of this manga, yeah.
a person who is a master thief looking for their father, and they go to this unexplored dungeon, and they end up working, I guess, as part of the dungeon like maintenance team or something. I guess is from what I'm getting on
Yeah.
this. So, Iro, you said you read a little bit of it.
I read a bit
before?
of this.
Okay.
Right. It's like she is recruited to help her like run the dungeon from in the back rooms of the dungeon, basically.
Right. So it becomes
okay.
Because
Also,
it's
so
like
I don't know if it
you're
becomes
the
more of like
adventurer-
a-
you're the adventurer who's gotten the farthest in a long time. Can you help us
Okay. So
make this
she's like
improve this? Like,
she's like working for the Dark Lord of the dungeon or something, or is there not?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's some kind of
she's-
like girl
is
who
she
is the
helping
manager of the
heroes?
dungeon.
no,
Or is
there's
she
just like some
part of it?
mage who's like, yeah, we run the dungeon. Let me show you all of the inner workings of how this dungeon works. And you
Right,
can.
but the goal is to stop heroes, not help them navigate the dungeon. Or is that not clear?
It's more like to perpetuate the dungeon.
Okay, right.
okay,
It
'cause
is
I was gonna say,
literally
it's
maintenance. It's not like we're,
Yeah.
we're like playing
We're
Dungeon
we're
Keeper.
we're like
I
we're
was
putting
literally
the
about to say, is this Dungeon Keeper the anime?
yeah. It's like they just kind of set everything up, and whatever happens, right?
Sure,
Like, that's,
sure.
Cells
Right.
at work. Cells at work in a dungeon.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I mean,
Kinda,
that
yeah.
sounds fine. I guess.
alright.
I feel like
I don't feel like it
Yeah.
had from what I read of the manga, it did not seem like it had much of a point.
sure.
Yeah, it seems pretty, and I'm not like super wild about the art style either. It's like
It seems like one of those manga that goes like super into detail of like the logistics of something that doesn't exist and no one cares about.
Right.
See, the problem, yeah, it's like I think it's like people don't, or I'm not saying people miss, but more like I think the thing people forget is like when Dungeon Meshi does, it's like the dungeon is an ecosystem, and
Right.
here are the ways in which it naturally like operates. A, it's really well thought out, but also B, it's a legitimate comedy unto itself, right? Like it has like actual substance to work with. I think
Yes.
right.
if the joke is just the like haha the dungeon like dungeons, am I right, guys?
All right.
Right.
If Dungeon Meshi did not have its humor and its characters, it would be insufferable. Because it would just be someone's
Yeah.
world building document.
Right. I mean, like Dungeon Meshi does have people standing around explaining how the dungeon works, but that's like one
Right.
kind of fraction of what the show is.
What I'll say is like Dungeon Meshi is like we explore how the dungeon works, and as an element of that is like there is strange magic at work that is, and we are figuring out the rules of how the dungeon works because we are adventurers and we have a goal trying to get deeper. This manga is more like the dungeon is secretly an office comedy, right? And then, but nothing happened.
Yeah. So I think so. I guess to kind of tie a bow on it, it's like, I think if comparing it to Dungeon Meshi, it's probably not going to compare it favorably, but it still looks like it could be fun to watch. I don't know,
sure.
but
it will not be as offensive as any number of other shows with dungeon in the title.
Yes.
I mean, yes, in the spectrum of eating monsters in a dungeon, maintaining a dungeon, and picking up girls in a dungeon.
The answer is still no. It's still not okay to pick up girls in the dungeon.
I suppose you're right. This is somewhere in the middle of that spectrum.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move, I guess, from we have Dungeon Meshi at home to we have Hyoka at home. And let's talk about... Shoushimin, how to become ordinary.
I don't know anything about this.
This looks almost identical to Hyoka, unless
this is a show about like a listless boy who meets a manic pixie dream girl, and together they solve mundane mysteries.
Like literally, the only difference I can tell is that the main girl, like if you cut Chitanda's hair to shoulder length, it otherwise looks exactly the same as Hyoka.
The thing about Hyoka is that you had the weight of KyoAni behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so just to be clear,
I assume this does not have the weight of KyoAni behind it.
Just to be clear, Aqua, you said this is actually the same writer, right?
Yeah, this is like the original creator, right? This is based on a novel by the original writer of the Hyoka novel.
Sure. Yes, and it appears. I mean, there's not a lot of details in this description here, but it does appear to be this dude and some girl who are probably solving small-time mysteries in high school, which is exactly the plot of Hyoka.
When were these novels written compared to Hyoka, if I might ask? This is a semi-complex question.
That is not something that I researched. I did not do that much research.
It looks like they're broadly concurrent. The thing about Hyoka is like you can pretty clearly delineate the arcs episodes of like which novel they were. I think you can tell then that the later episodes are much better because the guy got better at writing over time.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering
the other thing, and I think Ira, you might have been kind of alluding to this.
Yes.
Hyoka's really close on the verge to being extremely boring.
Yes.
And the KyoAni does a lot of heavy lifting to keep you visually interested. It is a beautiful anime.
Hey, you know what? You ask me what I remember about Hyoka.
What do you remember about Hyoka?
The cooking episode.
Yes.
Ask me what else I remember about Hyoka.
What else do you remember about
Hyoka? The last episode was good. But
the one where you learned like a bunch of little angels.
Yeah, the last episode was good.
Yeah, and there was the one that got locked in the shed. It's coming back to me now. But yes.
But there were 24 episodes of that show.
There were a lot of episodes that were just straight up. It's a very slow. Some of the episodes were just flat out boring.
I remember him being like, "Oh, I used my Sherlock skills to find out that you were smoking in this classroom."
Whatever. The second ED was good.
Yeah, the detective one.
Back when KyoAni had amazing EDs. So to kind of get until we actually see the show, and I'm sure there must be something different about it or whatever, but the thought of having a like Hyoka without Kyoani behind it just sounds really, really boring. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
and just looking at the trailer, like, it looks fine, but like, it's just like this dude dressed in a black school uniform talking to a girl in a very normal looking school uniform.
I'm already checked out.
Did you guys know that Hyoka, the anime, was written by Shoji Gato
Remind me
from
who
Full
showed
Metal Panic?
I mean, it's Kyoani,
Oh, that's
right?
funny, huh?
the anime scripts.
Yeah, the anime scripts were written by the mangaka or like the light novel writer.
Oh yeah, that's
of Full
fascinating.
Metal
Actually,
Panic, who also
for some
wrote
reason,
Copcraft, apparently.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
I feel like these tidbits are
I guess
coming back.
he
to
wrote
me.
the like. It looks like he wrote the animes of Full Metal Panic. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's Kyoani.
Maybe that's
Brilliant
what.
art, of course.
Maybe that's why somebody pulled strings to get Full Metal Panic season 4 funded. Anyway,
Shoji Gato,
Anyway.
noted for hating Greta Thunberg, apparently. Thanks, Wikipedia.
whatever.
Oh god. Anyway,
Yeah, well,
they're old men. Yeah, so like I can't really judge this until we see it, but it looks boring.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. We'll see. All right. Let's move on to
Yes.
one of the
Yes.
one of the better localized titles I've seen in a while.
Yep.
My dear friend Nokotan.
Uh-huh.
Aqua, are you familiar with this?
I know that the first trailer of this was revealed and it went mimetic, like
I see
Yes.
why 10 seconds in.
Shiko Noko 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 Koshitantan song got incredibly popular.
Yes.
But like this show actually might have some pedigree behind it, because like this is it seems to be like a standard, cute girls doing cute things show comedy, a bit more on the comedic side, about a former delinquent who tries to clean up her act, but then meets a deer hybrid girl who does all sorts of wacky things. But the thing is, like, this is going to be directed by one Masahiko Ota, director of Yuri Yuri, Love
Okay.
Lab,
Okay.
Sabagebu,
Okay.
and Onipan.
Oh,
I
Number 10
gotta
of
say
some year or another.
So yes, it is technically, it looks like a cute girls whatever.
Yeah.
I would put this in the cute girls behaving badly category.
I was
which
gonna say,
yes,
watching
I am a
this
fan
TV
of.
just be very strong.
And to be
cute
honest,
girls being
this-
assholes. So
Yeah.
This second trailer that I'm looking at on AnyChart looks amazing to me personally.
Yes.
there's
Like, this guy did two shows that we really love Lab, Sabagebu. This guy did Onipan, which Peter really liked. This guy did Gabriel Dropout, which is a show lots of people like. This guy did Minamike, which is a show I like.
Like it's
Sure.
it's very
Yeah.
surreal, like
Yeah.
chaos.
Got it.
Almost like you're almost starting to creep into a little of Pop Team Epic energy. Not quite that, not that far.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. Like there definitely is a little bit of that energy in at least the PVs.
Yes, it's a little more focused than Pop Team
Is
Epic, but
Oh, never mind. I my brain made a connection that is probably a stretch. So never mind.
you've already said it, Ira. You got
This
Okay.
CGI
The
deer.
opening of this show is called Shikairo Days.
Oh,
like
boy.
Gurren Lagann, sorry. Days.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this might be all right.
I just love the tags here: surreal comedy, school club, cosmic horror, monster girl. Yeah, all right,
Very good.
delinquents.
All right. okay.
Yes, finally a second series in the cute girls being cosmic horrors genre after.
Yeah. So
Sayonara.
basically,
No,
this,
I wanted to say, like, there was the one like
Yes,
Yaruko-san.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asayano Uta, my favorite American comic.
God,
I'm looking at the cast.
Gumihan.
Isn't that Saki Fujita? Isn't that Hatsune Miku?
That's
Yes,
Miku.
it is.
Yeah, she's Miku.
As noted as in Moe CureNet, Saki Fujita.
Oh yes. Well, nobody outside of this podcast is going to remember Moe CureNet either. But shout out to that. Megumi Han's in here. Yeah. So yeah, basically this is like of all the new things, I'm actually looking forward to this.
This looks like jailbait.
This looks very much like my kind of show.
I mean, it definitely looks like the kind of anime that will like GIF and clip well, right?
Yeah,
you know, a modern day Nichijou, if you will. But
yeah, it sort of has these vibes.
Well, the deer do the things that the deer did in Nichijou.
I mean there is already fan art of Nokotan fighting the principal.
All right, okay. Look, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Except now, look, she can't do the what were they called? She can't do the focus tags anymore. She's got to do the drive rush now.
Yes.
The times have changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do it justice in audio form. I encourage anyone listening to go actually look at the official trailer 2 thing I'm watching here. It's very good. I mean, there's live action deer like cut out badly in the it's
shitty CG deer as a joke.
Yes.
I mean, it literally opens up with the text, "Why are humans not deer?"
Hey! Deer are, we notice, beasts of lust.
No, those are reindeer.
Was it?
Yeah.
God, no one listening is going to understand this episode.
Something midnight non.
We're making so many references.
Go watch
Go watch
what
Seiren
2017 Seiren.
One of the most unhinged animes.
we are making references to anime that only get watched by people like us who have a blog and are contractually obligated to watch every single anime.
Season 2 any day now, fellas. There's still 3 girls we haven't met.
It's cursed. Oh God.
Anyway, that show looks fun.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So,
my goodness.
Let's catch up with what noted anime studio PA Works is doing these days.
Is
the most PA Works show ever.
So first of all, I found this interesting because PA Works, not like the most prolific studio, especially the last couple years. They've basically like done like one original show and one adaptation a year, right?
I think they've done many movies.
Maybe like a movie or two here and there. I went and double checked. Like they're not. My point is, it's very unusual to see them doing 3 shows in one season.
Wow.
Which is happening.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Turning into the new Kyoto Animation. It's a little, that in itself is just a little interesting. I also
2 of these are original.
Yeah, and I also realized it's kind of been a long time since we've had a
a PA
what we consider a quote-unquote PA Works show, which is like the
working girls.
Working girls in a pastel-colored seaside town show.
Yes.
The last one, I believe, was Aquatope on White Sand, which I regret to inform everyone was 3 years ago.
Working girls trying to gambaret their way, investing all of their time in a doomed project.
Yeah. So it has been a while, and to be fair, in between that time, they delivered last year's Skip and Loafer, which was excellent, and Akiba Maid War, which was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's Working Girls. Come on.
Yeah, there was a little
show.
There was a little bit of that energy in Akiba Maid War, but let's be honest, that was
Akiba
not.
Maid War is a PA Works Working Girls show. The Die Hard is a Christmas movie of anime.
Yes,
probably.
Basically. Yeah, basically. So anyway, these 3 shows. The first one is Narenare Cheer for You.
Cheer for You.
Probably looks like the most closest to what we would define as a PA Works type of show.
If you've heard this one before, 5 girls on the brisk of adulthood try to navigate their way through professional life
So this is
but these girls are
is,
actually like students, not like
this is by
Yeah.
the this
Yeah,
is
'cause
by
they're-
the-
professionals.
They're cheerleaders, right? So like
Okay.
I guess the premise is the one girl was a cheerleader in middle school, but I think they're implying she got hurt or something and she can't like jump anymore, but she's still
Oh, of
like
course.
doing cheerleading. And half the trailer is like, yay, cute girls cheerleaders, and then the other half is like implying there'll be some kind of drama or whatever, as you would expect.
The
From-
director / writer of this is the director / writer of several Bang Dream series / movies. So,
I think
So-
this thing
Is
that
one of those my go?
I think it was most of the Bang Dreams.
Yes.
Because I've heard my go is the good one.
Bang Dream Season 2, Bang Dream Season 3, Bang Dream Episode of Rosalia, Bang Dream Film Live Second Stage, Bang Dream It's My Go!
Oh yeah, that's
Bang Dream
Yeah.
Morphonication, Bang Dream
God.
Pop in Dream.
So
Bang Dream's pretty popular, but go
the
ahead. G.
question I actually have is like, does Japan have a tradition of like cheerleading at sports events? Like specifically girls with pom poms.
No, I don't think so. I think it's
Yeah.
always supposed to be a reference to American culture.
Right, because
Like
usually
in Kamen Rider
'cause-
Forza, yeah.
right,
Yes.
or like because it's like one of the jokes in the Trigger
Yes.
show Kill la Kill, successor to the Studio Gainax,
Yes.
where they visit the prefecture of Kobe.
Kobe.
Where the Kobe school busts out football players and cheerleaders as a haha, look at what Americans do.
The thing is, like, it's a reference to American culture, of course, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? I'm assuming
I'm
there
sure,
are
yeah. It's
several
Mhm.
Japanese high schools that have it as a club activity.
Sure,
Like,
sure, yeah. I was just like trying to think, like, yeah, like they don't have cheerleaders at like Japanese baseball
Yeah.
games or whatever, right?
Well, you know, the max difficulty of Oendan, where you play as the Oendan cheer girls, they are cheerleaders.
Yes, they are in fact American cheerleaders. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I mean, this looks fine. I will say I think visually it looks a little more ambitious than your typical PORC show with like the colors and stuff I found interesting in the trailer. But other than that, I mean, it looks kind of like, pretty standard split of, hey, fun girls club thing and also some drama mixed in because
we
that's
just-
what PORX
yeah.
does.
We just gotta open the box and see what we get.
Yeah, a little more off script is the second show,
Yeah.
Mayonaka Punch,
Okay.
which, from what I've researched, so this is another original. There's a manga that was released like a month ago, but it's how
That
it
doesn't
is
count.
developed.
Right.
In
This is
conjunction
your boy Kongming director.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, the plot is, what if Call of the Night was gay? Like
Isn't this about like VTubing or something, or like?
Well, okay, so
streaming?
so the main girl is I guess she gets canceled or something from her YouTube channel,
Okay.
and she's
Had a
trying to
heated
start.
gamer moment.
She's so what isn't in the description, and from what I could tell, digging a little deeper, she meets a vampire girl.
An
And
actual vampire, or like I play a vampire as my VTuber.
I think I think it's an actual vampire, but that's not entirely clear. There's not a lot of information out there. But she stays up all night making YouTube videos and starting a new channel with her new vampire girlfriend.
Oh.
Okay.
It looks kind of fun to me. I don't like the art. Like, I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
can see the
just
poster
kinda-
and everything.
Whatever.
It's a little too, I don't know.
Right. This sort of reminds me of something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I swear to God, this art.
This reminds me of Punchline.
That's what it is. Yes, you
Yeah,
nailed it, Aqua.
it's got punch in the title. Like,
It kind of looks like the same character art as like Punchline.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks kind of fun. I'm a little more interested in this one than the cheerleader show.
do you
if
want to know
only-
what the character designer is best known for?
What?
Doing character design for Gundam the Origin.
What? But that's literally just like Yasuhiko designs.
Okay, okay for you. Saber Marionette J.
Wow, this person is old school, huh?
Yeah.
You're going back.
I see the writer. At least I'm not seeing any credits for the writer, which is interesting. But
Yes.
that's a wild card.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Call of the Night vibes might have got me because I feel like over time I have more and more affection for that anime. Which season 2 announced for Call of the Night, by the way. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But
that manga ended recently. Right?
Yes, it did.
So maybe that'll actually like wrap the story up. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it looked kind of fun. I got like I said, I'm more interested in this one than the cheerleader one, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, which I'm not interested really in at all, is they're doing an adaptation of the, I guess, surprisingly popular video game, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which I don't really know a ton about. I've seen the game before here and there, but I did not think it was popular enough to get an anime adaptation, but here we are.
But Juki Hanada is writing this anime adaptation.
Man.
It's also the director of The Eccentric Family.
Wow.
So
there
might be something here, question mark?
They're putting some pretty big guns on it, I guess, but that's interesting. Juki Hanada currently killing it with a girls band Cry, right?
And Euphonium.
Yeah, well, Euphonium is still adaptation, though. Right. She works on a lot of
Juki Hanada is a man.
It's a man, yeah.
I'm sorry, I got that. I'm thinking of somebody else, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
this will
also be
reliable work.
This isn't. Yeah, this will be a game adaptation, right?
Right. This would also be an adaptation. I always heard good things about this game, but I just never got around to it. And
it's like
I don't know how story heavy the game is, but
I don't remember what you actually do in the game, but it's
like a half side-scrolling action game, and then half you are growing rice in town game.
Yeah, you're like a
Stardew
right. You're like a cute anime. You're like a cute anime girl in like medieval era Japan or something, right? Like it's
the thing is that the rice growing is like hyper realistic or
it's
whatever.
Like intense.
It's like what's the ratio of water to use for this rice? Like
is the anime just going to be like info dumping on how to grow rice?
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
that'd be more interesting than sub things.
It might be more interesting than the cheerleading. I don't know, but
it's kind of a weird pull, but I'll give it one episode.
Apparently that original game was made by 2 people. Holy shit.
Yeah, good for them.
Yes, my understanding is that like the game is actually kind of a rare, like or not rare, but a like notable like indie breakout hit in Japan.
Yeah.
Like Japan doesn't really quite have an indie scene in the same way that we in the West do.
They have doujin stuff.
Right? Well, they have the doujin circle stuff, right? But that stuff never really breaks out into like mainstream success in the way that we think of it. Well, no, there are certainly those examples, right? But it's like they kind of become the exceptions to the rule, right? Your Tohos and Fates of the world. But like you don't really see like Japanese studios doing a like a Hades or something of that kind. So Sakuna kind of did end up getting, I think, a fair amount of like good press because it was like, oh, like here's like a Japanese indie project that like punched well above its weight. So getting an anime adaptation is not like it's definitely surprising, but not unthinkable, I think.
Yeah.
All
right. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again. It's a little weird that PA Works is somehow doing 3. I mean, I'm sure they probably had one of these ready to go or something prior or whatever, but
right.
It's kind of weird for them to be doing 3 shows in one
anime
season.
Studios are getting, well, maybe not. From what I've heard, I feel like I've heard lately more stuff of like this anime was completely done when it started airing, right?
We're not in the like Kill la Kill driving the tape to the TV station.
So right, 6 hours before.
6 hours before it goes to air, right?
Man.
Yeah. That's a classic. But yeah, we'll see. We always keep an eye on
the Gainax style. Last 2 episodes of Evangelion.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on.
I have no clue what this is.
I wanted to mention the show Ramen Neko or Red Cat Ramen.
Gel bait.
So this is a show about a lady who goes to get a job at a ramen shop, and it turns out it is run by cartoon cats.
Okay, all right.
I was like, oh hell yeah, let me check this out. It looks very cute.
Is this a spin-off of ramen loving Koizumi-san?
Yeah, Koizumi loves ramen. Yeah.
Actually, no.
Oh, dang.
Although it is funny, they're all like cartoon cats, and then there's just one like actual like real ass looking
like real looking cat.
Yeah. So I was watching the trailer. I'm like, all right, hell yeah, let me check this out. And like I guess the main cat who's like the hard boiled ramen master guy with the headband and everything.
I should take a look at this.
And he starts talking. I'm like, oh god, no.
Oh, is it everybody's favorite?
Oh, he is voiced by Kenjiro Suda.
K Matsubuzz back again.
There he is.
And to be fair, the concept of this cute orange cartoon cat with the voice of Kenjiro Suda cooking ramen actually does sound pretty good. So I'll still give it a shot. But
it's a photorealistic tiger voiced by Saori Hayami.
I can't escape the man. He's everywhere.
I mean, he is everywhere.
Yeah,
he's a huge popular voice actor.
Possibly the hardest working man.
The man found his gimmick. He's gonna stick with it.
This is weird.
So, the show is being written. Is this an original? Sorry.
Yeah, this is an adaptation.
Okay. It's a manga, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The adaptation is apparently being written by a guy who only has production credits.
Yeah. No, he wrote the episode of Garo with the robot Garo.
Oh, did he? All right. Okay.
Oh well, hold on.
They're giving them
a pretty good episode of Garo.
It's true. A dude makes his Steam Garo suit. But yes, a weird credit. This guy who is listed as like producer.
Yeah, his time has come.
Yeah,
he just slipped that script into one of the meetings.
So. I think it's been well established I'm a sucker for cartoon cats. So
yeah, cartoon cats who do human things
and ramen. So I will check this out and see if the curse of Kenjiro Suda continues. But this feels like a safe choice. We'll see. All right.
Well, finally, save the best for last.
I guess so.
Someone tell me what the hell Suicide Squad Isekai is.
Well,
let me tell you
exactly what it says on the tin.
According to the official site, deadly crazy party of the baddest villains land themselves in Isekai, the most dangerous and bizarre fantasy adventure unveiled. DC's Harley Quinn trademark and the Joker trademark have been Isekai? Suicide Squad trademark rampages onto the stage of Isekai.
I feel like I just got blindsided because when I look at the show notes, I copy-paste them into a notepad file, and I apparently just did not copy-paste this one to the end. So I was like, oh yeah, Red Cat Ramen's the last show, we're going to wrap up. And then you all are coming here and beating me with baseball bats with nails hammered in them, labeled Suicide Squad and Isekai.
Okay, so while it is very easy to dunk on that concept, how much of the staff is crossing over with Ninja Batman?
None.
Not enough. None. I don't think.
No, Batman Ninja is good.
Yes, Ninja Batman is DC Isekai brackets good.
I thought there was some staff crossover, but maybe I was wrong. I did not.
No,
actually check.
This is just kind of continues the trend of like. DC has been, I mean, whatever. We don't need to relitigate the whole thing, but yes, long story short, DC has been struggling to find its like successful cinematic universe characters, right? Until it finally accidentally struck gold with James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie.
The Suicide Squad, yeah.
Yeah, and DC and Warner Brothers more likely being the short-sighted and fundamentally fail sons of the media industry that they are, were like, oh, this Suicide Squad thing did well. We should just do like 80 Suicide Squad things, which is how we ended up with a really bad Suicide Squad game, or now this anime. So this is just like one in a like million of their like scattershot attempt to just basically recreate the success of that first James Gunn Suicide Squad movie. You know.
You just see, well, that was the second Suicide Squad movie,
yes,
right?
yes, I guess technically.
But yes, we have a lineup of Harley Quinn, of course, the Joker, of course, Deadshot, Peacemaker, who is like just explicitly his John Cena version from the James Gunn film, Clayface, who is a Ikemen, King Shark, who is voiced by the guy who voiced Vice in Kamen Rider Revised, so the Japanese equivalent of a Black Scent again, Rick Flag.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, Tana. You don't want to piss her off. Her sword eats the souls of its victims.
What?
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what else is there to say about this, other than like,
this is stupid. Like, this is just blatantly.
Apparently, the ED is by a popular VTuber.
Yeah, the ED is by Calliope More, the VTuber who raps.
Very cool.
This is like a fucking. This is a cynical opportunism at its finest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like we take thing that is popular in the West and combine it with thing that is popular in the East.
I mean, but not
you
only
got your Suicide Squad in my Isekai. No, you got your Isekai in my Suicide Squad.
But like, also more importantly, like a sort of like just surface level. Oh, this is popular with the kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like
the kids like Suicide Squad and the kids like Isekai. What is Isekai?
You know, I mean, or not even just Isekai, but just anime. Period.
Yeah,
I mean, like, fuck, man, they announced a Tomb Raider anime. Like,
did they?
But that's not actual anime. That's one of those like fake anime, like Castlevania.
Oh, is that they do that thing where they're just calling it an anime because it's more marketable?
Anime because that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this is an actual anime, like made by Wit Studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got the lady from Kageyoko Hitman Reborn and Psychopath to design a new Harley Quinn that everyone will want to cosplay. Design a terrible fucking Joker. No one has done a good Joker design in 15 years. This is not going to be good.
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, at least on this is not going to play on the podcast, but on Anichart, the listing for Joker is specifically art from the Joker, from the manga One OP Joker, which is the gag manga in which Batman is turned into a baby and Joker has to take care of Batman.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, all right.
You should read that manga just because it's got some really good dipshit panels. Like I think there's one where it's like Joker's like, now's my chance, and in the background it just says Joker chance.
Joker's trick.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's like Joker's chance. And the stupid Joker mentality is like, oh well, I can't. If Batman's a baby, he won't laugh at my jokes, so I have to raise him carefully and to become a proper member of society.
I will say the handful of times I've seen Japanese creatives handling the Joker specifically have been pretty fun, pretty good.
Yeah, I would say maybe check out One OP Joker before you watch Suicide Squad Isekai.
Joker in Batman Ninja is good. Yeah,
this is like the fucking sexy Tumblr Joker,
right? Yeah,
crazy,
way more. Yeah.
One thing that might be interesting about this is written by Teppei Nagatsuki, the guy who wrote Vivi.
No,
and RE0.
Yes, boo, which is why we were all skeptical of Vivi before it started airing.
You know, RE0, also known as RE. This is the only good isekai, we swear. 0.
Whatever, man. I just
Oh God, are they gonna get stuck in a time loop?
way more
This guy
way
loves
more
time loops.
important DC anime is that they announced they're doing another Batman Ninja.
Yes.
Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League.
So can we now build like a scale of Western comic book anime adaptations with like this on the left? Well, I mean it hasn't aired yet, but presuming this is going to be
Good could
bad,
it be?
this is on one end. Then somewhere higher up you have God, what was that
Disc
show that
Wars.
Marvel Disc Wars,
Marvel's Iron Man, like,
and then
I
on
was just about to say, like, sorry, but I haven't even seen Suicide Isekai yet, but it will still be better than those fucking Marvel anime that they did, like Wolverine, X-Men, Blade,
those were
and Iron Man. Like, yeah.
I'm not. I feel like we shouldn't even count those, but yeah, the.
Marvel
Remember the
Discord.
supernatural anime Drex cigarette?
And then would Ninja Batman be the gold standard?
Yes.
Batman Ninja was so good.
Or Batman Ninja. I see it both either Ninja Batman or Batman Ninja.
I mean, it's kind of pleonastic, isn't it? Like, is Batman ever not a ninja?
Whoa, damn.
Oh, that's way deeper.
You're asking
than
the
I
real
can
questions
handle at the end of this podcast episode, but yeah.
In China, Chinese food is just called food.
All right.
Okay, hang on. They got fucking the 8 the 8 cuisine traditions of China. Like they have, you know. It's like when I watched Iron Chef and the dude's like, this man is the master of Shandong cuisine as opposed to Chen Kenichi, master of Canton and Sichuan cuisine. Sichuan sage, Chen Kenichi. Son of the god of Sichuan cooking, Chen Kenmin.
Have you finished all the Iron Chef
no,
ones
I'm not.
on this? Okay. I've kind of stalled out myself. Someday, Ira, we're doing the Iron Chef podcast. The Iron Chef watch along.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode.
Fuck ISEKAI.
We may have the train may have gone off the tracks, but we've reached our destination eventually. I don't know. We'll see next season. I mean, the Deer Show looks fun. There's a couple things, you know. Look, you know, we say this every season. You know, something always hits us. We got Girls Band Cry this season, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's always
god awful. It ends up being like an Anime of the Year contender for me personally.
Yeah.
So who knows? But you know, that's why we do this. We're doing this for 12 years.
Yeah.
We'll have more on the anniversary stuff when we do the actual first
the log's almost full enough to drink.
As
sorry, bad joke.
As a teaser for our anniversary, you know how I've been looking back on the 10 years of the past 2 years now, and I'll say summer 2014, arguably the best comedy season of the GLORIO era. Just to throw that out there. We'll talk more about that another time, though. All right, that's going to do it then for this episode. Let's do our housekeeping. You can check us out at theglorioblog.com. You can follow us on co-host at GLORIO. Please check out co-host people.
Co-host is great. They pay attention to me there on like Twitter.
Co-host is fun, and I feel like if you're the type of person that likes this podcast, you would probably like being on co-host.
Right. We post a lot of content on the co-host.
Yeah.
Well, in general, whether we're posting it or just find other people that are posting things, follow us individually, you know, at Gel, at Iro, and at G-Men, and at Aquagaze. And you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher, and of course YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all those good things.
This is the last time we'll be able to say Google Play.
Oh yeah, I probably need to.
Wait, what?
They're discontinuing Google Podcasts.
Fucking
what happens? What happens to the premium subscriptions?
I don't know.
I have.
Ask Google.
Oh my goodness.
We'll figure that out later. For the time being, as of recording this episode, it's still there. But maybe you want to check out one of those other options, like YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch everybody next time.